My wife slid a folder across the table and said, "Thought you should know. I've been planning my exit for months, and I'm taking everything I can." I didn't raise my voice. I just told her, "Before you celebrate, open the envelope inside." The moment she looked at the first page, her hands started shaking so hard she couldn't even finish reading. I'm Carter, 35, and 2 days ago my wife of 7 years announced she was leaving me while simultaneously trying to financially destroy me. What she didn't know was that I'd been 3 steps ahead of her for the past 4 months, and the envelope she'd just opened contained proof that would unravel every plan she'd carefully constructed. Vanessa and I met when we were 26. She was working as a paralegal at a small firm. I was doing financial analysis for a tech company. We dated for 2 years, got married in a beach ceremony that her parents paid for, and settled into what I thought was a pretty good marriage. We bought a house 3 years ago, talked about kids eventually, took trips to wine country on weekends. From the outside, we looked solid. But about 6 months ago, things started feeling off. Vanessa was on her phone constantly, password protecting everything suddenly. She started working late more often, going to networking events that would run until midnight. When I'd ask about her day, she'd give vague answers and change the subject. Classic signs, but I wanted to believe there was a reasonable explanation. 4 months ago, I came home early from a business trip. Flight got canceled. I caught an earlier one, landed at 3 p.m. instead of 9 p.m. When I walked into our house at 3:45, I heard voices upstairs. Vanessa's voice and a man's voice. I stood in the hallway, frozen, listening to them laugh about something. Then I heard the bedroom door open. I should have confronted them right then, but something made me stay quiet. I went back outside, sat in my car down the street, and watched a man I didn't recognize leave our house 20 minutes later. He looked about my age, dressed in a nice suit, confident walk. He got into a BMW and drove away. I waited another 30 minutes before going back inside. Vanessa was in the kitchen making herself coffee like nothing had happened. "You're home early," she said, smiling. "I thought your flight wasn't until tonight." "Got lucky with an earlier one. How was your day?" "Boring. Worked from home, caught up on some emails, the usual." She lied right to my face without hesitation. That's when I knew this wasn't just paranoia. I didn't confront her. Instead, I called my college roommate Dave, who'd become a private investigator, told him everything. He said he'd look into it discreetly. A week later, he sent me a file that made my stomach drop. The man was Vanessa's boss, Richard Kellerman, married, 2 kids. He and Vanessa had been having an affair for at least 8 months based on hotel records, credit card statements Dave had accessed, and photos of them together at restaurants across the city. But that wasn't even the worst part. Dave had also uncovered financial records showing that Vanessa had been systematically moving money out of our joint accounts into a separate account I didn't know about. Over the past 6 months, she'd transferred almost $47,000, mostly in small amounts that wouldn't trigger immediate notice, but sometimes in larger chunks when I was traveling. She'd also taken out a $30,000 personal loan in my name using forged documents. Dave had copies of everything. "She's planning something," Dave told me on the phone. "People don't move this much money without a plan. My guess is she's getting ready to leave and wants to make sure she's got a financial cushion." "Can I stop her?" "Not without her knowing you're onto her, but you can protect yourself. Talk to a lawyer. Secure your assets. Document everything. When she makes her move, you'll be ready." I met with a divorce attorney named Linda Chen the next day. Showed her everything Dave had uncovered. She looked grim as she reviewed it all. "This is financial abuse," Linda said. "The forged loan documents alone are potentially criminal. The question is how you want to handle this. We could file for divorce immediately and pursue charges. Or we can wait until she makes her move and hit her with everything at once." "What's the advantage of waiting?" "If she files first, or demands a divorce, and then we reveal what she's been doing, it completely undermines her position. She won't be able to claim she deserves anything. In fact, you'd have grounds to demand she return everything she stole plus damages. Let's wait. But I want to protect what's left. Linda helped me quietly move remaining funds into protected accounts, documented all of Vanessa's transfers, and prepared divorce papers that could be filed immediately when needed. For the next 3 months, I went about my life normally. Went to work, came home, pretended everything was fine while my wife continued her affair and her theft. It was the hardest 3 months of my life. Watching her lie, watching her pretend to love me while planning to destroy me financially. But I kept my cool because I knew what was coming. 2 nights ago, Vanessa came home around 8 p.m. I was in the kitchen making dinner. She walked in with a folder in her hand and this weird, confident energy. "We need to talk," she said. "Okay. Want dinner first?" "No. Sit down." I sat at the kitchen table. She sat across from me and slid the folder over. "I think you should read this." I opened it. Divorce papers. Already filled out, her signature at the bottom, waiting for mine. "I've been unhappy for a long time," she said, not looking particularly upset about it. "I think we want different things. I think it's better if we end this now before we waste more of each other's time." "Okay," I said calmly. She looked surprised. "Okay, that's it? What do you want me to say? You've obviously made up your mind." "I thought you'd fight me on this." "Why would I fight you on something you clearly want?" She seemed thrown by my calm reaction. Then she got more confident again. "I spoke to a lawyer. I'm entitled to half of everything. The house, your retirement accounts, savings. I've documented all our assets." "I'm sure you have." "I'm being fair about this, Carter. I could ask for alimony, but I'm not. I just want my half and we can both move on." "Your half," I repeated. "Yes, half of the house equity, half of your 401k, half of the savings accounts. I've already calculated it. It's all in the folder." I looked at the papers. She'd listed assets totaling about $340,000, expecting $170,000 as her share. She'd conveniently not mentioned the $47,000 she'd already taken. "Before you celebrate," I said quietly, "you should open the envelope inside the folder." "What envelope?" "The white envelope. Bottom of the folder. I put it there while you were talking." She looked confused, but pulled out the envelope I'd slipped in when she wasn't paying attention. Inside were copies of everything: bank statements showing her transfers, hotel receipts from her affair, the forged loan documents, photos of her and Richard together. The first page was a summary I'd written: "Documentation of financial theft and fraud by Vanessa Mitchell, compiled by private investigator." Her hands started shaking as she read the first page. The color drained from her face. "What is this?" "It's evidence that you've been stealing from me for 6 months, that you forged my signature on loan documents, that you've been having an affair with your married boss. It's everything my lawyer needs to ensure you get nothing in this divorce. Less than nothing, actually. You'll be lucky if I don't press criminal charges." "You had me investigated?" 4 months ago, when I came home early and heard you with Richard in our bedroom." "You knew? This whole time?" "I knew. I documented. I prepared. While you were planning your exit, I was building a case that will destroy any claim you think you have." She was fully panicking now, flipping through pages, seeing her transactions laid out, seeing photos of her and Richard at hotels and restaurants. "This is an invasion of privacy. It's evidence of theft and fraud. My lawyer assures me it's all admissible, especially the forged loan documents. That's a felony, Vanessa. I was going to pay you back." "With what? The money you stole from me? You moved $47,000 into a secret account and took out a $30,000 loan in my name. You were planning to leave me broke while you started a new life with your married boyfriend." "It's not like that." "Then what is it like? Explain it to me." She couldn't. She just sat there shaking, tears starting to form. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. You're going to sign a post-nuptial agreement that my lawyer prepared. You're going to return every penny you took. You're going to take responsibility for the loan you fraudulently opened. You're going to waive any claim to the house, my retirement accounts, or any other assets. In exchange, I won't press criminal charges. You'll walk away with whatever you came into the marriage with. That's it. I can't afford that. Then you shouldn't have stolen from me. Those are your choices. Sign the agreement and leave with your freedom, or refuse, and I'll file criminal charges along with the divorce. Your boss will definitely fire you when his wife finds out about the affair, which she will because I'll make sure of it. You'll have a criminal record and no job. Or you can sign and move on with your life. This is insane. This is consequences. You wanted to plan an exit. I'm giving you one. Take it or leave it. Update 1. Vanessa didn't answer that night. She grabbed the envelope and her folder and left. I heard her car peel out of the driveway around 10 p.m. She didn't come home. I went to bed in the guest room around midnight, not expecting to hear from her. At 7 a.m. the next morning, she showed up with a lawyer. Her own lawyer, a guy named Tom, something who looked like he didn't want to be there. They sat in the living room while my lawyer Linda joined us via phone. Tom tried to negotiate. Mr. Mitchell, my client admits she made some mistakes, but the post-nuptial agreement you're proposing is extremely one-sided. Your client committed fraud and theft. Linda's voice came through the phone speaker. She forged his signature on loan documents and systematically stole nearly $50,000 from joint accounts. The agreement is more than fair. She avoids criminal prosecution and gets to leave without debt. That's generous, considering what she did. We could argue that the joint accounts were depleted without his knowledge or consent, using deceptive transfers specifically designed to avoid detection. That's not marital asset division. That's theft. Would you like me to forward these documents to the DA's office, or would your client like to sign? Tom looked at Vanessa. She looked defeated, smaller than I'd ever seen her. If I sign, he won't press charges? That's correct, Linda said. Sign the agreement, return the stolen funds within 30 days, take responsibility for the fraudulent loan, and vacate the marital home within 60 days. No criminal charges will be filed. And Richard? His wife? That depends on your cooperation, I said. You sign today, move out quietly, return the money, and I'll keep the affair documentation to myself. You fight me on this, and everyone finds out everything. She signed. Her hand was shaking so badly she could barely write her name, but she signed. Tom witnessed it. Linda confirmed receipt via phone. It was done. Vanessa left that morning. Went to her sister's place, I heard later. Tom tried to make small talk as he packed his briefcase, probably feeling bad for his client. You had this planned for a while. 4 months, since I found out. Most people would have confronted immediately. Most people don't have wives who forge their signatures for loans and steal $50,000. I needed time to build an airtight case. He nodded and left. Update 2. Vanessa had 30 days to return the money. I didn't expect her to be able to do it. She'd probably already spent some of it, and coming up with that much cash quickly isn't easy. But 3 weeks later, my account showed a transfer of $47,000. All of it, in one lump sum. I texted her. Received the transfer. Thank you. She responded an hour later. My parents gave me the money. They know everything now. Her parents. I'd always gotten along with them pretty well. Her dad, Carl, was a reasonable guy. Her mom, Donna, was sweet, but maybe a little too protective of Vanessa. I wondered what they thought about all this. 2 days after the transfer, Carl called me. Carter, it's Carl. Do you have a minute? Sure. What's up? I wanted to apologize for my daughter's behavior. Donna and I had no idea what she'd been doing. When she came to us for the money and told us why she needed it, we were horrified. I appreciate that, Carl. You didn't need to give her the money. Yes, we did. Not for her sake, for yours. What she did was theft. We're not going to let our daughter be a thief, even if it means draining our savings account to make you whole. You've always been good to her. You didn't deserve this. Thank you. That means a lot. She's staying with her sister. Donna and I told her she's not welcome at our house until she gets her life together. She lost her job, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. No, I didn't. She quit before they could fire her. Apparently Richard's wife found out about the affair, I don't know how, and threatened to make a scene at the office. Vanessa resigned to avoid the drama. I didn't tell Carl that I'd been the one to inform Richard's wife. I'd done it anonymously, sent her copies of the hotel records and photos with a note that said, "Thought you should know who your husband is spending company dinners with." Let her draw her own conclusions. "I'm sorry you're going through this with her," I told Carl. "We're disappointed. We raised her better than this. I hope you find someone who treats you right, Carter. You're a good man." Thanks, Carl. Update 3. Vanessa moved out of the house 55 days after signing the agreement. She'd been staying with her sister but needed to get her stuff. I wasn't there when she came. I made sure I was at work. My friend Dave helped coordinate with her to make sure it went smoothly. She took her clothes, some furniture that was clearly hers, books, personal items, left everything else. Dave texted me photos of the house afterward. It looked emptier, but not devastated. She hadn't trashed anything out of spite, which I half expected. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. No contest, no drama, just paperwork. The judge reviewed the post-nuptial agreement, confirmed Vanessa had returned the stolen funds, and granted the divorce with the terms we'd agreed to. I kept the house, my retirement accounts, everything. She left with what she'd brought into the marriage, and nothing more. I ran into her once, about 2 months after everything was finalized. I was at a coffee shop near my office, and she walked in. We made eye contact. She looked like she was debating whether to leave or pretend she hadn't seen me. Finally, she walked over. "Hey," she said. "Hey, can I sit for a second?" "Sure." She sat across from me, holding her coffee cup with both hands. "I wanted to say I'm sorry for all of it. The affair, the money, the lying. I don't know what I was thinking. You were thinking you deserved more than what we had, and you were willing to destroy me to get it. I know. It was selfish and stupid and cruel. I've been in therapy trying to understand why I did it. And what did you figure out? That I confused excitement with happiness. Richard made me feel important and successful and desired. You made me feel safe and stable. I wanted the excitement so badly that I was willing to throw away the safety. I'm an idiot." "Yeah, you kind of are." She almost smiled. "You were 3 steps ahead of me the whole time. I thought I was being so smart, planning everything out, and you were just watching me dig my own grave. I protected myself, that's all. You did more than that. You made sure I'd face consequences. Real consequences. I lost my job, my marriage, my parents' respect, $47,000, and nearly got criminal charges. You destroyed me, Carter. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure you didn't destroy me in the process." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "I deserve that. I deserve all of it. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to hear it." "Okay, I heard it. Are you doing okay?" "I'm doing fine. Better, actually. Turns out when you're not living with someone who's lying to you every day, life gets a lot more peaceful." "I'm glad. You deserve that." She finished her coffee and left. I haven't seen her since. Final update. It's been 7 months since Vanessa slid that folder across the table. 7 months since I slid that envelope back and watched her world fall apart. The house is mine now. Feels more like home without her in it. I repainted a few rooms, got new furniture, made it my space instead of our space. Richard got divorced too. His wife took him to the cleaners in their settlement. Last I heard, he's living in a small apartment downtown and paying massive child support and alimony. Vanessa and Richard aren't together as far as I know. Once the affair was exposed and they both lost their jobs, the excitement she was chasing probably evaporated pretty quickly. Vanessa found a new job at a smaller firm, still a paralegal, but making less money and starting over in her career. Her sister told one of my friends that Vanessa's in therapy and trying to rebuild her life. I hope that's true. I don't wish her ill. I just don't wish her anything at all. I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it when the right person comes along. I'm more cautious now, more aware of red flags, but I'm not cynical. What Vanessa did was about her, not about relationships in general. The money she returned is still sitting in my account. I haven't touched it. Feels tainted somehow. I'm thinking about donating it to a charity that helps fraud victims, turn something ugly into something useful. Dave, my PI friend, told me last month that what I did, waiting, documenting, preparing, was one of the smartest things he'd seen a betrayed spouse do. Most people react emotionally. You reacted strategically. That's why you came out ahead. Maybe. Or maybe I just got lucky that I found out early enough to protect myself. If I'd discovered everything after she filed for divorce, I'd have been screwed. The hardest part wasn't the divorce or the money or even the betrayal. It was those 3 months of knowing and pretending I didn't know. Sitting across from her at dinner, watching her text Richard, listening to her lie about where she'd been. Keeping my face neutral while my stomach churned. That took everything I had. But it was worth it, because when she finally made her move, I was ready. And when she opened that envelope and saw everything I knew, everything I'd documented, every plan she'd made crumbling in front of her, that moment made those 3 months of pretending worthwhile. I'm Carter, 35, divorced, financially secure, living in a house I own outright, learning to trust again but taking it slow. I survived someone trying to destroy me, and I came out stronger on the other side. That's enough.